So this is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 22, Text 57, Translation. Maharaj Prithu was so strong and powerful that no one could disobey his orders any more than one could conquer fire itself. He was so strong that he was compared to Indra, the king of heaven, whose power is insuperable. On the other hand, Maharaj Prithu was also as tolerant as the earth, and in fulfilling various desires of human society, he was like heaven itself. Purport. It is the duty of a king to give protection to the citizens and to fulfill their desires. At the same time, the citizens must obey the laws of the state. Maharaj Prithu maintained all the standards of good government, and he was so invincible that no one could disobey his orders any more than a person could stop heat and light emanating from a fire. He was so strong and powerful that he was compared to the king of heaven, Indra. In this age, modern scientists have been experimenting with nuclear weapons, and in a former age they used to release Brahmastras. But all these Brahmastras and nuclear weapons are insignificant compared to the thunderbolt of the king of heaven. When Indra releases a thunderbolt, even the biggest hills and mountains crack. On the other hand, Maharaj Prithu was as tolerant as the earth itself, and he fulfilled all the desires of the citizens, just as torrents of rain from the sky fulfill the need of the earth for water. Without rainfall, it is not possible to survive on this planet. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Parjanyat Anasambhavaha, Bhagavad Gita 3:14. Food grains are produced only because rain falls from the sky, and without grains, no one on the earth can survive. Consequently, an unlimited distribution of mercy is compared with the water falling from the clouds. Maharaj Prithu distributed his mercy incessantly, much like rainfall. In other words, Maharaj Prithu was softer than a rose flower and harder than a thunderbolt. In this way, he ruled over his kingdom. Durdarshas Teja Sevagnir Mahendra Iva Durjayaha Titikshaya Daritriva Dyaur Ivabishtado Nrinam. Maharaj Prithu was so strong and powerful that no one could disobey his orders any more than one could conquer fire itself. He was so strong that he was compared to Indra, the king of heaven, whose power is insuperable. On the other hand, Maharaj Prithu was also as tolerant as the earth, and in fulfilling various desires of human society, he was like heaven itself. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So here the qualities of Maharaj Prithu are described. He is a leader, he is a king, and he is a representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Actually, he is the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead also. So Krishna sends his representatives and sends his incarnations to show by example how to live, how to serve, and here we see an example of a leader serving. So a king serving, a Raja. And the first thing that Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport is that the first duty of a king is protection. Protection. And the second duty of a king is to fulfill everyone's desires. So you may say, this sounds nice. This sounds good, that the leader should fulfill our desires. So we can demand, can expect from a leader to fulfill our desires. Now, the leader has to know how he should fulfill our desires. He should fulfill our desires in a way that does not degrade us, in a way that is bringing us higher, to higher level of existence. So this is what Maharaj Prithu knew. He knew how to fulfill the desires of the citizens in a way that they are not degraded. Because if they become degraded, then they will suffer. If they entangle themselves in sinful activities, and therefore what is mentioned here in the Transcendental Diary, therefore we need yagya. Everything should be done as yagya. So Maharaj Prithu, as a saintly king, Rajarshi, he was teaching citizens how to fulfill their desires by doing yagya, by doing sacrifice. He was not just helping them to indulge in their hedonistic tendencies, like today's leaders. They promise economic development, a lot of opulence so we can enjoy life. So people want money so they can eat, sleep, mate and defend. And they expect the leader to give them a job so they can make money, or to give them social aid so they can enjoy without working. So many people come to England from all over the world, and when they ask them, why are you coming here? They say, because accommodation is better. Accommodation is better. And also, I mean, if you don't have a job, you get quite good social aid. I think we should tell cleaning services of the city of Cologne not to clean during the Bhagavatam class. Especially not with this noisy truck. So, people vote for a leader, and they expect him to serve them. And during the campaign, he promises so many things, but usually he doesn't fulfill all these promises. So, every politician promises a lot, that he will do better than the previous politician, but then when they get into that job of being a president, they see that it's a tough job and there are so many problems, and that they cannot fulfill all desires of everybody, of everyone. At the end of the purport, Srila Prabhupada says that Prithu Maharaj was both softer than a rose and harder than the thunderbolt. So he was especially hard when the wrongdoers or criminals are to be punished. Nowadays, when somebody commits some crime, they send him to a psychiatrist, and then they say that, oh, he had traumas from his childhood, that's why he has killed the whole class in the school. So maybe we should not kill him. Maybe we should just, put him in a hospital and then release him after some time. So this kind of speculation is not Samhita, the guide for the mankind, the law book, not guide, but law book for the mankind, where the laws are described, the laws of God, the laws of nature are described, that for every action there is certain reaction. But people speculate, and then they think that they are very merciful for not punishing the wrongdoer or the criminal or the killer. And then this sends a message to every other potential criminal that actually they can get away with it. They can get away with it. Therefore, punishment has its place in the society, because criminal activities have to be punished. And also, if you have money, you can pay and they release you. In Kali Yuga, justice in the 12th canto is described. In Kali Yuga, you get justice by money. If you can bribe the judge, bribe the police, you get justice. So this is not right. This is not right. This is lack of integrity. Lack of integrity. So one great quality of Maharaj Prithu is that he had integrity. That means he was true to God's values. He was true to God's principles. This is integrity. And what is lacking in leadership today is lack of integrity. First of all, leaders do not have a compass. They don't know exactly what are the principles they are supposed to follow. And then, even if they get to know them from some teachers, they don't follow them. There is so many seminars on leadership and how to be happy and success, but who is following these things? Some people attend the seminar and then they say, oh, it doesn't work for me. Well, it can work if you do the work. But if you don't do the work, if you don't apply it, it will not work for you. I need something, other door or window opened because of the air. So, to have integrity, one has to have parameters, one has to have some principles which he is following. For example, if you have a principle that I'm not going to make compromise because of money with my values, that's integrity. So in politics you always see different interests. There is vested interest, there is personal interests, and people, like are lenient towards their family members or their friends, and they are stricter to others. Those who have power, they are stricter to others. It's called nepotism, and this is not right. Before, a king used to punish his son if the son was a rascal. Even his son, what to speak of friends or others. So he was loyal to the laws of God. The king was loyal to the laws of God. And nobody is spared from the consequences if one breaks the laws of God. So this is what we are getting from the Vedic literature's sound principles. Sound principles. Principles are laws of God. They are laws of God. Sometimes we call them laws of nature, but they are actually laws of God. So if one lives by principles, he is known as a principle-centered person, and Prithu Maharaj was a principle-centered person. And nobody is above the law. Nobody is above the law. And nobody can break the law. At least they cannot break the law for a long time. Maybe for some time they can break the law, but then there will be consequences. Once there was a warship in the open sea, floating, going from one destination to another in the night, and they saw light at a distance, and the captain said, "Give them a sign to move." And this guy who is in charge of this, he climbed up and sent a message with lights. And the answer is coming, "You move." Back to the captain. Captain says, "Tell him again." Again, sign. "Move. We are a big ship." The answer says, "No, you move. I will not move." Then the captain gets angry and says, "Tell him I'm a captain such and such with such and such medals or something, and this is a warship, and they can get in trouble if they don't move." The answer is coming, "I am the seaman, I am the watchman, such and such." I forgot his name, and he said, "And I am the lighthouse." So I cannot move. You have to move. So similarly, laws of nature are like this. You cannot break them. You can only break yourself against them. You can only break yourself against them. But if you take advantage of the light that comes from these principles or these laws of nature, you can see where is your way. You can see clearly which way to go. So this ship has to take advantage of the lighthouse, of the light from the lighthouse, and then not hit the mainland, not hit the island, and go his way, but he has to turn a little bit to the left or whatever. So laws of nature are like this. So now you can break the laws of nature for some time, you can do criminal activities for some time, you can do criminal activities secretly, you can break the principles secretly, but you will not get away with it. Nobody will get away with it. The fact that nobody saw you, it doesn't mean that God didn't see you if you do something. So in the Bhagavatam there is like 10 kinds of witnesses. Demigods, sky, day, night, Paramatma, I don't know all of them 10 by heart, but there is 10 kinds of witnesses. Whatever you do, you are watched. So remember that next time when you are tempted to do something that is not right. It's nonsense. Now, we see this as Lord's care, this kind of supervision. We see it as Lord's care. So now, how can present leaders follow these things when they don't even know them? For example, they don't know that eating meat, taking intoxication, having illicit sex or gambling are sinful. I'm sure that many leaders have shares. They have shares in the gambling houses, maybe even brothels, meat industry, because it brings money. They don't even know themselves that they are getting a bad karma. What to speak of teaching people? So therefore, if the leader is in ignorance, all the people will be in ignorance also. So yadyada charati shreshtas tatadeveta rojanaha sayat pramanam kurute lokastada anuvartate. Who knows the translation? Yeah?
When one big man leads or goes a path, then all of
standards.
So it's like the same in a different words. So whatever standards he sets, then everyone will adopt it.
Yeah, people pursue it, also follow. Mm. So this is 321, very important verse in the Bhagavad Gita. It's about leadership, about being an example. But it's not verse only for some people who are there. It's for every one of us. Some people who have a position or have an office or something. This verse is not only for somebody else, it's for us. Because we all take responsibility in one way or the other. We are all leaders in one way or the other. So Prithu Maharaj exemplified this. He was acting according to God's principles. He was acting according to God's principles. And in order for us to be able to act according to God's principles, we have to be accountable to someone, accountable, responsible, feel responsibility. Accountable, you have to report to someone. You have to be supervised. Why? Because conditioned souls have a tendency to make mistakes. So if they are not accountable to anyone, then the mistakes will not be corrected. And the mistakes will become a new standard. The mistakes will become a new standard. The mistakes of a leader. And then when people see, oh, if he does like this, I can also do like this. So Prithu Maharaj was a perfect example for people to follow. And in our ISKCON movement, leaders also need to follow the principles that Srila Prabhupada has given. And if we don't follow everything that he has given, especially the basics, then it's called Ardha Kukuti Nyaya. Do you know what it means? Veni Madhava Prabhu? Ardha Kukuti Nyaya.
Ardha means half, I don't know.
Half, and the Nyaya. Nyaya is logic. Nyaya is logic. And Kukuti is what? Hen. Kukuti is a chicken. So, translation, as far as I remember, is the logic of a headless hen. So, because the back of the hen gives eggs, you keep it. But because hen is, eating and spending your food, you cut it. You cut the head, so you get only golden eggs or whatever. So therefore, people take something from the scriptures and they say, oh, I'm following scriptures. But they take part of it. They don't take the whole thing. And in this way, they are not following the scriptures. Many people take something from the Gita and then say, oh, I'm following the Gita, but actually they're not following the whole Gita. They're following some part of it. Just take what you like. Take what you like, then, the rest is not important because you don't like it. So, Salem in India?
Yeah.
There is a temple there?
Yeah.
Salem.
Salem.
Salem? I heard it's Salem.
Which part, Prabhuji?
In India. I don't know which part.
This is Tamil Nadu.
Tamil Nadu.
Salem.
Salem. Well, devotees in Europe, they say Salem, but okay, Salem. And there is a devotee there from Croatia. His name is Gokula Chandra Prabhu. He's a temple president or something. Yeah, he's a temple president. So he gave class once in Zagreb. I attended his class. And he said, we are all great devotees when we are waiting in a line for prasadam at the feast. But when you have to wash the pots, almost everyone disappears. So now I forgot why I told this story. Okay. Yes. So everyone wants to enjoy prasadam, but either doesn't want to cook or doesn't want to clean or whatever. So whatever you, when you, like, if I give you a stick, you say, I just want to first part of the stick, not the second part, the last part. I don't have a stick here. If I give you a stick, if you take one side of the stick, you have to take the other too. So similarly in life, there is nectar and there is tapasya also. There is nectar and there is austerity. And this is the part of life. So we have to understand that whatever we do, like if you want to get married, and you think, you pray to God, please send me angelic wife, great cook, beautiful looking, but nobody prays, send me a wife who will point out my deepest anarthas. First she will see them clearly, and then she will point them out without fear. She will tell me, look, this is not good. And nobody prays for a wife who will be rude with you. Everybody dreams of a wife who speaks sweetly. Parlare dolcemente. It means speak sweetly, or parler gentiment in French. I tried to find out in German how you say speak sweetly, and I forgot last time, maybe devotees told me. So can you help me now? In German, speak sweetly.
Oh, rede süß.
What?
Bitte rede süß.
I cannot even hear it. Jesus? Okay, please, very distinctly, very clearly.
Süßlich. Reden.
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 Reden, toll.
Zeus. It has to do with Zucker. Zucker?
Yeah, with sweetness.
Okay, it's very difficult. I think in German there is not so much as speak sweetly. So, in Spanish it's hablar, dolce, hablar, something. Dulce, hablar, dulce, something like that. So when you want to get married, you're dreaming, oh my wife, at least she will not be rude to me, because my boss is rude to me, devotees sometimes they chastise me, but at least she will speak sweetly. And my friend, a famous coach, no, actually his client, he came home and he was telling his wife how his life, actually his wife told him that her day was miserable. You understand? Her day was very difficult, miserable, full of problems. And then he was saying, oh, you don't know how my day was even more miserable than yours. So they were competing who had a more miserable day. And then she told him, your day was miserable? He said, yes. She said, you know what? It's not over. You know what it means? She will make it more miserable. So nobody is praying for such a wife. Or no wife is praying for husband who is lazy. You know, husband, he have a tendency to sit and wait. Sit and wait for the wife to bring him everything. To bring him food, to bring him socks, to bring him glasses. And you know, husbands, they think because they work, when they come home, they should do nothing. And sometimes wife also works, but they still think that they should do nothing. I mean, this is how it was in my family. My father was working, my mother was working, but my father, when he comes back home, he just sits. And my mother, when she comes back home, she starts to work again. I mean, she starts to clean, cook, wash, serve. And when I was a child, I didn't actually notice this. And I didn't question it. Otherwise, I would question it. I would say, what? This is not fair. What's happening here? But later, I became aware that this was not fair. And I mean, my father passed away, but I cannot question him now. My mother is still alive, so I want to ask her, how did you agree to this unfair arrangement that you work 8 hours, he works even less because he was a teacher in the school, he works 6 hours, and then he comes back, sits and expects him to bring him food and bring him drink and do this for him and that for him, and he didn't do anything, and you cooked, you cleaned, you shopping and things like this. Why did you agree to this unfair arrangement? No. Then also wife expects of the husband to take care of the kids, and then he thinks, but why should I do this? I'm not a woman. I mean, to hold the baby or change the diapers? This is woman's job, isn't it? And then when husband agrees to do this, then the wife is happy because he's cooperating, and she cannot do everything. It's too much for her. I mean, she has so many things to do. So sometimes husband agrees to take care of the small kid or bigger kids, and that's more fair. So divide the duties, not just I'm the boss and you're my slave. This is not fair. This is not fair. So the part of the mentality of a devotee, that he understands that life is not easy and that we need to accept everything, pleasant or unpleasant, that life brings, and we have to continue with devotional service. And yesterday we spoke with Jasachandra Prabhu about integrity of leaders, and that if integrity is not working, if people have no trust in leaders, then there has to be regular integrity check. So what they do in the business world, they have like 60 questions to assess the performance of a leader. In ISKCON, we don't have this assessment of the performance very much. But there was something that you told me yesterday about sannyasis. They are assessed in one way. But I don't know if our top leaders are assessed. So you can use your intelligence to create this questionnaire and this quiz about integrity to check how you are performing, how the leader is performing. Because if nobody is supervising the leader, he may do whatever he likes. And he may make so many mistakes. So therefore, I was proposing Success Partnership for Devotees, where devotees can actually watch each other or be accountable to each other. And if we do integrity assessment from time to time with somebody, it can be our spouse, it can be our friend, it can be our coach, our mentor, then we will keep this integrity healthy. And then we can also become a leader. And we can also question the integrity of leaders. But if we don't have integrity, then questioning the integrity of others is called hypocrisy, duplicity. You cannot question others if you are not doing it. That's the law of God, the law of example. That's the law of God. So, to be honest, what does it mean to be honest? I was looking in the database. What does it mean to be honest? To be honest means Bhoktaram yagya tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram sukhridam sarva bhutanam gyatva mam shantim richati. To act in line with these three principles, Lord is the supreme enjoyer, He is the master of all the planets, He is the Lord of all the planets and of all the demigods. He is enjoyer of all yagyas and all sacrifices, yagya tapasam, and all austerities. And Sukhridam Sarvabhutanam, he is the best friend of everyone. People don't believe that, even devotees don't believe this, that the Lord is the best friend of everyone. And Prabhupada said preachers of this movement should preach these three things. Mainly to preach these three things. 529, Bhagavad Gita 529. Bhoktaram yagatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram sukhridam sarvabhutanam. And what is the result? Gyatva mam shantim richati. One can attain peace if one acts in this way. Shantim richati. One can reach peace or shanti. So this is also a peace formula. It was distributed in the 70s, 60s and 70s, a pamphlet with this verse as a peace formula. Srila Prabhupada explained it. It was a peace formula. What is the best peace formula? So people still need time to understand this. Why I'm not peaceful? Are you following these three principles? No. Okay, so try to follow and see how it affects your peace. So these are some of the points in relation to this verse and the purport. So do you have any questions?
Because he was talking about the protection. The first duty of the king is to protect, and the second is to fulfill the desires. About the protection, can you give maybe a short comment? From what to protect? From the danger, from what? What is dangerous or not? Not good for us, that we should be protected. From what we should be protected?
First
From what
protection.
the king protects us.
First protection is from Maya, from illusion. So the duty of a king is to teach people, or to engage brahmanas also to teach people about spiritual science. And then protection of the body, security, physical security, protection from the enemies, protection from criminals. But the main protection is the protection of consciousness of the people, making sure they get educated, making sure they understand the laws of God and follow them. And king knows that not everybody is a pure devotee, they have desires, but they have to fulfill them in a way that will not degrade them. Yeah, so he makes sure they fulfill them in line with Vedic principles.
So that means that these 2 points should be in harmony. If I want to be educated, I ask my king, please protect me, give me my desires to be educated, or not. For these 2 principles, they should not be separated from each other. So protection and fulfilling the desires, yes? Yes? Then it is the happy state, that people are happy.
Yeah.
Because my desires should be in, how to say, in the plunk,
In line, in harmony.
in line with the this protection the king can give me.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
I mean, you can approach a king and say, King, please give me money. But you can also approach a king and ask him, King, please give me brain. Please give me, understanding. Because if you have brain, you will get money easily. Please give me intelligence, please give me spiritual intelligence so that I'm not in illusion. And people want to squeeze out money from the government. People want to squeeze money out from the government and not work. And many are successful in this. Many are successful. They live on social security like generation after generation after generation. They live on social security. I used to live in squats. You know what is a squat? So in England, there was a law in the 19th century that if the flat is empty or a house is empty, you can legally enter into the house and live there as long as you don't go out. So if at least somebody is there, they cannot kick you out legally. Police can kick you out. But if you're not there, they can come and change the lock and they can put somebody else or whatever. They can do things, but they cannot kick you out legally from the flat. So when I didn't have where to live, when my family was in America, wife and child, then I didn't want to pay for my accommodation. So there was some congregational devotees who knew squats. That's free accommodation in London. And there is a lot of flats. And they are good, there is heating, there is warm water, and you don't pay anything for this. And of course you stay for some time, then somehow they kick you out or you look for some other place, or there is a mess, you have to clean it a little bit. There is a couple of inconveniences, but it's free, flat in London with heating. So you have to be a little flexible to move here and there. I had a smaller bag, and for me it was not a problem, because my family was not here, so I didn't come back to one place. And they tell me families live like this, generations, parents, children, grandchildren, they live in squats, they live for free, and they get social aid, social security, social help, money, and they don't work. They don't work. Isn't that great? There is one book by Brian Tracy. He's a famous business consultant and a success teacher. The book is called Something for Nothing. Isn't that good? Something for, you get something for nothing. So today people offer for free. You think, wow, this is free. Okay, let me take everything that is free. I do that. I take all the free books, but I also give for free. I don't charge for anything. I also give for free. So if you give for free, you have a right to take everything for free. But of course, this free, so-called free stuff is a hook for you to get, interested in something. Then they enroll you on paid courses. You know that? So, okay. So next question or comment.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Srila Prabhupada ki